witnessing the highest level treason event unfold in U.S. and worldwide history. Treason is the crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. A military tribunal is an inquisitorial system based on charges brought by military authorities, prosecuted by military authority, judged by military officers, and sentenced by military officers against a member of an enemy army. Q has hinted to us that civilians can serve on military tribunals. Q has also hinted that U.S. citizens can be legally tried as enemy combatants in certain scenarios. The Cabal is a global criminal operation composed of private parties that has controlled the global monetary system since its inception in the 1600s. Now, it's been rumored that because of the Cabal's unaccounted for, fruitless spending, that by October 1st of 2018, the US dollar had been suspended of new asset funding, and as of January 2019, the US was completely out of money. The plan involved revaluing the fiat US dollar into a gold, asset-backed note, plus restore the original US Constitution through a takedown of this criminal cabal. Since around the 1600s, Satan worshippers have been illegally funneling US taxpayer monies for their own benefit. By the 1800s, they were using privately owned Federal Reserve, IRS, Bank of London, the Vatican, and these central banks to control the global monetary system, while filling their pockets for themselves and the politicians they wish to influence along the way. Organized by the Vatican and enforced by the various mafias under the direction of the Vatican satanic Ninth Circle child sacrifice cult. The Vatican, Federal Reserve, Queen Elizabeth, and the central bankers also obtained funds by running international child exploitation rings, drug and gun running rings, using payoffs, blackmail, and voter fraud to secure control over the geopolitical world. The Federal Reserve was secretive, run by unelected and unaccountable bureaucrats, bailed out by big banks, encouraged deficit spending, had too much power, had significantly devalued our currency, hurt the poor, and ruined the middle class. By October 1st of 2018, the fiat US dollar had no more liquidity in a bankrupt US Inc., which was said to be the real cause for the government shutdown on December 21st, and provided the perfect conditions for the alliance to prep the nation, the world, for a financial transition. In the next few weeks, the final revaluing of monies around the world, the preparations were finished. With the expected upcoming economic and security crisis of a stock market crash, multi-terrorist, gun, drug running, and the human trafficking crisis coming over the U.S. border, the serving of 71,000 plus indictments on mostly political elites, plus the Democrats refusing to address security issues, President Trump was mulling the possibility of declaring what is rumored to be martial law or some kind of national emergency. Now, it's been rumored that terrorist Alfonso Uela was organizing the 15,000 plus Hondurans and thousands of Mexicans who planned to force their way into the U.S. illegally around January 16th, Another reason for Trump to immediately declare a national emergency, the martial law that was being rumored. This was planned by the highest elites, and then they reached out to their arm of the media to declare it a caravan and start pumping it into our heads so we'd start arguing with fellow Americans whether it was an invasion or a caravan of peace. But what it really is treason and sedition to the highest levels of this country. Now, Operation Gladio was a nationwide secret army of foreign mercenaries, criminals, terrorists, and other soldier of fortune wannabes who used the open borders to sneak across terrorist cells, who would then carry out false flag terrorist attacks for the Cabal. Another reason for Trump to immediately declare a national emergency, or as some are claiming, martial law. If you are not fully disturbed by the picture that's being painted here, I would suggest restarting this video over and watching it again. Now, the new gold asset-backed global currency reset was expected to be announced along with the quantum financial system at the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. This would require permanent shutdown of the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and central banks across the globe. Through a Tier 5, Joe Public could begin their exchanges. Moving forward to April and May of 2019, the 2016 and 2018 U.S. elections would be considered invalid, with the announcement of the GIRSA law, exposure of voter fraud, and the fact that George Soros not only owned most mass media outlets, but controlled the programming to most state voting machines. GIRSA required the new elections to be held within 90 days of announcement, meaning new elections would likely be held sometime in April or May of 2019. So to go back over this, we Americans are dealing with two foreign governments on our shores. One, a territorial United States government presided over by the British hegemony, and one municipal United States government presided over by the bunco artist of the Republican and Democratic political lobbies in what pretends to be a United States Congress. These two entities were built into our government from the very beginning, but never intended to play anything like the roles that they are currently playing, and since they have usurped. The territorial United States government was supposed to oversee new territories until their eventual statehood, and also provided a government for the possessions run as a territorial domain, kind of like Puerto Rico and America Samoa. They are also provided other stipulated services as clearly stated in the territorial United States Constitution. Instead, they have usurped upon our states and established their own state of states and literally substituted themselves for our rightful government in a betrayal of trust and duty. Now, I hate to say this, but in their defense, they will say this was necessary because we did not reestablish federal level states of states after the Civil War. But in fairness to us, nobody explained the situation, and no effort was ever made to inform the public and to allow for a reconstruction of the lawful government we are owed.
We're going to the border. Just spoke to some of my friends in Arizona. We have tremendous support. The Republicans are extremely united. They all want to see something happen, but they're extremely united. And I don't think I've ever seen unity like this in the Republican Party. The media, which I call the opposition party, a lot of the media.
Our economy was in a very bad decline. It was being orchestrated from the highest levels. The MSN was pushing their agenda the whole time for a recession during the elections. Trump and the Patriots knew the plan. There was a great reconstructing coming to the central banks of the world, and phase one had begun. The president of the World Bank stepped down and Trump would replace him. The Dems, MSN, confirmed that Trump could use a national emergency to fund the wall. Trump was holding a press conference that the MSN didn't really want to cover. Trump tweeted out that the stories about Syria were false, then Q dropped some more bread, confirmed that the government is and being run by the deep state. Ruth Bader Ginsburg might not be coming back to the Supreme Court, and Trump could appoint a new candidate. The fake news would not report on any of his successes. What they do is they create fake narratives, and when they don't come true, they create new ones. The clock's been ticking. Everything is changing. The full picture will be clear soon. Very soon, terrible news will spread. It'll seem impossible to believe, horrible, sickening, unbelievable, unimaginable things. It'll shake your world and may turn everything you've ever believed in upside down. People you know will be accused of unbelievable, monstrous things. This could be people in Hollywood, politicians, journalists, pop stars, your favorite charities, religious leaders, institutions, heads of states, police officers, so on and so forth. We want you to know that good people have been fighting a silent battle behind the scenes in order to save the world from the terrible horrors. It was a lonely war. It was a silent war. Chances are you did not even notice it, but you will soon. That's why we are here. That's why we are warning you, and you must hear us out. In the beginning of all this, we were just a bunch of anonymous people from around the globe. We didn't want money. We didn't want fame. We just couldn't sit back and watch the world burn and do nothing about it. That's why we are here, letting you know and have been trying to warn you. We've been supporting our President Donald J. Trump in his efforts to drain the swamp. I don't care if you like our president or not. I just want you to know that he will protect you regardless. Horrible things happen that will come to the light. Please don't be afraid. You will be safe. Bad actors will be brought to justice. Good people around the world will prosper again and live happy lives. Children and adults in slavery will be liberated. I'm Michael. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed to each and every one of you worldwide. Where we go one, we go all. And remember, be prepared for what you will find. Some truths are hard to swallow. Remember to inform your friends and family, stay calm, and inform yourself. Your president works every day and night to protect you from the unimaginable horrors that exist. This will all be over soon.